showtime.
Dynamite Download.
Welcome to Dynamite Download, your source for positive coverage of all elite wrestling.
This is what pro wrestling's supposed to feel like.
Oh, you guys, positive energy.
I think that created a little moment in itself.
You're saying I have a better record than Kenny Omega and Samoa Joe, and now I'm going to have to wrestle them.
I've never seen someone able to break down like wrestling like he does.
Mariah May said boom.
My real story does connect with a lot of people.
That you need to be careful in the locker room.
I definitely think that women's wrestling has been elevated.
And with the loss of Brody, I feel like we were just kind of a little bit directionless.
I was like deep diving into like cults.
Raw Force.
Raw Force?
Oh my god!
Amazing.
I had to smack him around a few times to fully gain his respect.
You said that in front of the voice of a generation?
It was Frankie's match.
Awesome.
This podcast is quite frankly the drizzling shit, if I'm being quite honest.
They spread positivity about AEW.
Welcome to Dynamite Download.
Whoa, this is weird. Good evening, Dynamite Download, Universe, Galaxy, and everything in between. It is our episode 190. We are getting close to that big 200. I am, of course, Mind Runner. And with me is the Panama Jack of Dynamite Download. He is the general of the Thunder Army. We're talking about Thunderbolt Brent Ross. Brent, thank you for joining us and filling in for SPD, who is on a secret assignment.
I wonder what secret he's on.
Yeah, I wonder. You can speculate in the chat. What's up, by the way, Steven in the chat? And what does Courtney say? Courtney has a message here. Says, happy birthday, Brent. Is it your birthday today?
Yeah, it is.
It is? Well, wow. I wish I had known about that. Yes, by the way, Michael, we definitely want to talk about Tekla and her awesome debut against Lady Frost, who I also adore. But, yeah, I wish I knew it was your birthday. I wish we could have done something special for you.
Sorry, man. I like to keep it under wraps like a lot of people. It's not.
Understand. Well, I do have a strange button here I'm going to click.
Dude, that's
happy
awesome.
Happy birthday, Brent. Playing around with a little bit of the AI. And look, in the chat is SBD himself. And, of course, we got Full Tilt Deb. The whole family is saying happy birthday. Of course, Courtney, the spoiler alert.
Thank you, everybody.
Absolutely. And, somewhere La Mera is wishing you a happy birthday as well. You know this.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you feel older? Do you feel like an old man now, or is this you still feeling good?
Dude, mentally I feel like I'm 16, but like physically, it gets getting a little rough.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's you get that all there. By the way, hey, what's up, dude? What's up?
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of dudes walking around. That's just I'm in the woods.
He is at the Dude Ranch in the woods. But we are not here to talk about dude bonding, or maybe we are, but we're here to talk about what I love is, and Full Tilt Deb gave me this idea. She said it first last night that, there are a lot of haters were hating on Tony Khan saying, these AEW pay-per-views are too long. And Tony's response is, all right, let's have back-to-back 4-hour Dynamites. So, which that's like, hey, all right, you're going to have steak dinner twice back-to-back, twist my arm. But last night was, of course, Fyter Fest. And I chose this picture because one, this whole incident was great. But number two, we were also ate last night very well. I feel like really quickly, your overall feeling of last night's 4-hour Fighter Fest. Did it live up to the hype? Did it feel like just a Dynamite? Did it feel like a pay-per-view? Were there any low points?
I don't think there was. I don't think it felt like a pay-per-view. I mean, I pretty much kind of felt like it was like just Dynamite and Collision, which that's basically what it was together. I don't know why people are complaining. Like nowadays, if you're tired, go to sleep, wake up, watch it later. Like I mean, there's so many different ways you can watch it. You know, you don't have to binge it all at once. And even pay-per-views, there's some times where like, I don't know, like I can't watch it all for some reason. So like I bought it, I could watch it anytime I want. You know, I mean, I get the idea, like people want to watch stuff live, but like, you know, sometimes you can't. But like, it's not like the old days where like if you didn't watch it right then and there, you're gonna miss it.
Mm-hmm. And even when you did, you couldn't quite set your VCR, and especially with all this, with all the the stuff going on with the NBA and all this stuff, you don't know if you're going to get it at the right time. Now, with Max, it's like it's a dream with all that stuff. But the other thing too is that you can pause. You can pause, take a break. You get if you need to go do something. And so we like that because it gives us a buffer to speed through the commercials. So
I usually watch it with an hour delay to miss the commercial. So like yeah,
absolutely. But I thought every match delivered. Unfortunately, I felt like the main event actually was, I wouldn't say the weakest, but it was like at that point I had 4 hours of just almost sensory overload. That when it got down to I would say a much more Bryan Danielson style match, I'm starting to kind of go, all right, Adam Cole, all right, guys. But I felt like the whole thing. What if you were going to give it a grade? What would you give it?
I'd probably give it a B+.
Awesome, I like that. I think the one thing I would say, it would have been nice to have at least one more women's match.
I mean, there's people I always want to see on the show. I always want to see Thunder. I always want to see Statlander. I always want to see Hayter. I didn't get any of that, but Willow, yes, definitely. And then also, but like we did get Tamello, which was awesome.
Yes.
So that's cool. And like sometimes you got to change it up. And Tekla, it was cool to see her. Lady Frost, like you said.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, let's talk about, what a way to kick off the show. And again, how over is Mark Briscoe at this point?
Oh, he's so over. I mean, like, and you know why? I've said this before. He loves his job. He loves being a pro wrestler. He loves the fans and like legit. Like it's not, I think like what you're seeing Mark Briscoe, you're seeing him like that's who he is all the time. And I think it's fantastic. And I think people see his authenticity towards the sport and you have to love him.
Yeah. You have to love him. He is super over. He's over with all of us. And I thought this was such a great back and forth. Moxley really let Mark Briscoe shine in this match. Obviously it's a Moxley match, it's a Briscoe match. Somebody's gonna get color, and of course, and once again, Mark Briscoe with the crimson mask. Yes, redneck kung fu. It was definitely nice to see Mark Briscoe in action. I like that they're continuing this, but they're also still keeping Moxley formidable. I thought that was really well done, as well as the way that they're also kind of keeping the Death Riders as a threat. Although we'll get to some of that coming up soon about what's in store. Who could be the savior of AEW? And then we had I thought this was a phenomenal tag match, and it was there's so much storytelling done that was done in this match, as well as do you feel like, first I want to hear your thoughts on this on this tag match, but also is Tony Khan actually dipping his toe and testing the waters for women's tag team titles.
It's so, it's so funny that you say that, because we were kind of, me and you were going back a little bit about, he said, like, he kind of said in the press conference, maybe, but it sounded like it wasn't going to be he was going to do it. And now all of a sudden it seems like I'm hearing more rumors. You're seeing more tag teams with the women. It seems like they're pairing them up now. So it's, seems like it's going to happen, which is really cool.
And especially we're going to get to that later, the return of Ty J, which it's interesting because when Harley Cameron got injured, that was like the first thing I thought of is like, are they making room for Ty Mello? Of course, we were going back and forth with rumors. Is she pregnant again? We were talking about before. What do you think of the Julia Hart Sky Blue tandem? And first of all, what do you think of them? And then kind of we got to talk about also how they set up Tony and Mercedes.
Oh yeah, I mean, they before Sky Blue got hurt, they were like teasing it. So I like how they kept up with it when she came back, like it never ended. Because a lot of times you don't get that, and I think they're dynamic. Their entrance, I mean, their whole theme, both of them. It just seems they're very well put together. They go together well. I like it a lot. I mean, this match was awesome. Geez, Tony Storm is I think when they come back to look at this time period, she's gonna be everyone's gonna talk about her. How we all talk about Sherry Martel.
Yes.
How well of a manager she was. I think it's gonna be like that. Do you remember the timeless period? Because it's so timeless different and so over the top, and she's so over. And that's why I'm I think everyone's hoping really that she retains.
Oh, I think that Dallas will riot, or Arlington will riot if Mercedes becomes the world champion. But yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say they could, and we always I always think SPD says but the chase, something crazy could happen, how she loses it, and then then we get to see her try to get back into that scene and dethrone her, or hopefully she doesn't take some time off. So
it would be so brutal if she took time off. But I'm one of the few that actually liked the quote unquote amnesia gimmick and how it turned out to be for her acting. I thought she came back and was like, "What makes you think I've forgotten?" I thought that was such a great moment, and people were bashing it. I thought it was great. And the Tony Storm eating Mercedes steak with her hands, and I think she was even feeding some of the fans some of the lettuce or something. And you got to give it to Mercedes playing her role as such a great heel. Her reactions were spot on.
Yeah, they really were. I mean, I think we've been saying, I think, she's on top of her game, and she's playing the heel so good that you want her to lose. So she's doing her job well, and like I said, she's so good in the ring. I think people just forget that, once that bell rings, it's you're gonna have a classic almost.
How do you feel like Mina Shirakawa's fitting in, and where do you see Mina going forward? And is she going to still be kind of in Tony's corner? Should she pursue something else? Where do you see Mina fitting in with everything?
Well, that's a great question. I'm just I'm thinking that it could be something where she turns on Tony. I mean, that might be far-fetched and goes with Mercedes, and that's how she loses. I'm trying to remember, and you might remember there, Mind Runner, before Mina left, what was her and Tony's relationship? Because I know her, Mariah, and Tony, it was kind of weird there after Mariah turned.
I think it shifted, because I think originally it was Mina and Tony fighting over Mariah. But then when Mariah turned on Mina, it actually was Tony and Mina were more got along better. than when Mariah turned. So it's almost like I think they're friendly. Yeah.
And then something happened with them over in Japan because they were all over there right at the same time, I think. Or no, Mariah was here and Tony and Mina were over in Japan. I'm just wondering, like, if like you said, are they gonna like kind of like stay as like almost like a faction together, like through this? What do you think?
The timeless tandem, timeless tits.
Timeless tits. I like that.
No, but like I don't know. I think she's a great fit. I mean, everybody. It's a big pop. I'm glad that they went back to her original theme song because that is a banger. Versus whatever it is. I was thinking, she can, back before Mariah May went to WWE, I was thinking that Mina and Mariah maybe would feud for a while and then reform Club Venus. But now I'm thinking Club Venus has kind of been done, unless Mina like does form a tag team with somebody, can't be timeless just because of Thunder Tits. You're right, Courtney. But I'd like to see Mina get a singles run and maybe say, Tony, I'll help you, but you got to give me a shot. Or in the unfortunate event that Mercedes wins at All In, Mina could then be like in a position to be number one contender, perhaps.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, or something like that.
I mean, I think they really kind of like, and I could see why maybe, but they really kind of like dropped the ball with the Thunder Tits. There's merchandise to be made there, and like I saw this match and I'm like, why isn't it Thunder Rosa there instead of Mina? But I think it's because of what Thunder's doing in Mexico right now.
Yeah,
so I think maybe
on Ring of Honor she tagged with a CMLL talent and I'm trying to remember,
which was a great match.
I forgot her name. But it's fantastic, and I think that's something really cool. Do you think Thunder could? I mean, as much as we want her to be on our AEW programming, do you think Thunder could be a powerhouse for Ring of Honor, a much and maybe be a rival for Athena?
Well, yeah, I was like kind of hoping maybe that they might go that way for All In if we were going to get her, because I know even back when Athena came into AEW, Thunder wanted to wrestle her.
Yeah.
And they've wrestled in the Indies before, and they were fantastic matches.
Was it the Warriors title or something? That was,
and I think I think it was a time limit draw, 30 minutes, or I can't. Yeah.
Persephone was the name of her tag team partner. Yeah, absolutely good. But speaking of women's tag team, by the way, we have to make some adjustments on our tag team predictions. We had Mariah May on there, plus Ty Mello's back. Okay. So tomorrow, before we start the draft, we're going to have a quick redo of the tag team brackets, fantasy tag team brackets that we have. So we'll have to put that in there. But you're absolutely right. And I wonder if in Texas, perhaps at the Ring of Honor show, will it be Athena versus Thunder Rosa for the Ring of Honor title? And could Thunder be the one to put an end to the forever champion?
And if you remember, Thunder was in Ring of Honor before.
Yep.
Tag teaming. I think they had the belts, her Twisted Sisters.
Yes, the Twisted Sister. Oh, can you imagine Holiday showing up?
Yeah. And you know who they beat? They beat Britt Baker and Madison Rayne.
Awesome. That's something we talked a little bit about on Mission Pro Spotlight is, Thunder has been very clear recently and especially in her vlog that she's laid out the challenge to Britt Baker. She's and it's a testament to Thunder Rosa that she knows when there's money on the table, she'll work with anybody. She's shown that she's definitely above any of the pettiness. Now, the ball's in the DMD's court, and it does sound like DMD's kind of burned some of her AEW bridges already. I don't know what's going on with that, but it would be really cool if they could somehow reignite that feud again. Would you want to see that, or are you kind of cool on Britt Baker at this point?
I mean, I'm never I get the money match, and I would hate. I would hate. Could you see Britt Baker agreeing to it and losing? I don't. So I'd hate to see Thunder get her head shaved. I think she wouldn't care because that's the type of person she is, and I think. But I mean, I think a lot of people. I'd rather see her take on Athena or Mercedes Moné, or Toni Storm again. Like, I'm just kind of don't want her back in the picture.
Yeah, and you know what? She could I think Britt Baker's one that could stand for a redo in NXT. Send her to the other major company or TNA, let her get a chance to shine there, and go from there. But we have ourselves a super chat party. It's the birthday boy. We have we can go timeless. We can go super chat. We could go with the Hellhounds, Statlander, or we actually have an Adam Cole one as well. Do you have a preference for super? Or no, of course we got to go with the Thunder super chat party, right? The Thunder Rosa. All right, so here we go. Without further ado, super chat party. All right, and he even though but here's the thing, BR chose stat, so even though we did the Thunder one, we'll do the stat one as well. Here we go. All right. Thank you, BR. We got the stat. It's a super stat party. Well, let's continue to talk a little bit about the women's division. Then we've got a lot of the rest of the action to talk about. But we've already talked about Ty Mello coming out. She waited exactly until after Brent Ross was done with his draft to show up, just like Sky Blue as well. They all had to wait until after we were done with the draft so that Brent couldn't get any points. But did you pop for this? Were you excited for Ty's return? And is this further proof that we're starting to dip our toe for the women's tag belts?
Oh yeah, I was super pumped. I've always been a fan since she started. Now she was in NXT before, and I don't remember her being there. But when she came over to AEW back, I think it was in 2021. It was around the same time, I think, maybe 2020 when Thunder showed up too. I remember I was like, man, she's just real captivating to me. Like, I thought her wrestling style was amazing. I loved her gear. I got to meet her one time, which was awesome. So I'm pretty pumped. And her and Anna Jay, I think, are a great tag team together. So like you said, I think they're really pushing. I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to get maybe All In or a tournament before, and then have the match for the belts at All In. That'd be cool.
Oh, I think that would be tremendous. A huge now, or if they're going to do something like that, they either need to start announcing it soon, and I think a tournament would be phenomenal. Yeah, my favorite. Ty won me over in her debut because I remember hearing that she was really getting some backstage drama, mistreatment in NXT. I guess there was some people just kind of being mean in the locker room, and it's different now. But she came to AEW, and when she had that debut, and I can't remember if it was weird because I think it was definitely pandemic era at Daly's place.
Yeah.
But she came out and she just started tearing up, like she felt like she was home. And she had a great match. She had a great series of matches. And I know that for a while, especially when she was with the Jericho Appreciation Society, there was a lot of heat on her and Sammy. But if you watch their vlogs, they're a very cute family together. And and the DNA that Luna has, Luna's got Sammy's DNA and Ty's jiu-jitsu Brazilian DNA. If Luna doesn't become a wrestler, she's going to be still a badass in some form. But great stuff. But super excited. I love how they also I like the matching gear now with Penelope and Megan Bayne. And so let's do it. Tony Khan, the ball is in your court. Let's get those tag team titles. But let's talk about some of the men's action, because Will Ospreay comes out, talks to Shivani, and he's talking about how it's Hangman's turn and how he's trying to be the peacemaker between Swerve and Hanger. And then Lio Rush comes out, and he's like, Will Ospreay ain't even a number one contender. Come on, player. We're going to get ourselves. He's like, to me, Lio Rush is like the Cat Williams of AEW. And he comes out, issues a cool challenge. And those of you that are familiar with Lio and Will Ospreay, this was going to be the banger that it was. What were your thoughts on this interaction? Will Ospreay and Lio? Is this going to lead to Lio, the Crew versus Will and Hanger? What do you think?
I think it might. I mean, that's a good call there. I never thought of it, but that makes sense. And yeah, I mean, I think it's a good way to just, get them together and, progress with the storyline, with Hangman, Swerve, and Ospreay.
I love it. And, I always say that Lio Rush exists at a different frame rate than the rest of us mortals. Like,
he's running at 120.
Yeah, he's at 120 frame rate. Like, he's like, whoa, where'd he go? And this was fantastic. I'd love to see that tag. And I like that I hate that it seems like it's at the expense of Top Flight. And you mentioned Sensational Sherry earlier, and I made the comment after watching her AEW interview with RJ City. Layla Gray is kind of a modern day Sensational Sherry in that, like, she's got that gravelly voice. She's kind of got that glam, that personification. It'd be interesting to see her. I almost think she should switch up, drop Top Flight, and be the manager of the Crew, and kind of be a heel manager. I think she would be. I mean, it would be shades of Harlem Heat, of HBK. I think that would be. I think that would be a good push for her. But yeah, I like that the Crew is getting a little bit more of a spotlight. Is the tag team division getting the attention it deserves right now? Are we getting better?
I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to think. I mean, you got FTR. I like what's going on there. It's hard to say. You know what I mean? And like, what's up? That we got the trios going on.
Yeah.
Too. I don't know. I don't know if I'm so invested. At this point. I mean, with the tag division right now. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're trying. I don't know if they're waiting for something. When I was getting excited when they had that big, like, it was almost like a tag team casino battle royal when the Outrunners and MXM came out. But if you've got MXM, you've got Outrunners, you've got all these great tag teams that are there and aren't necessarily being used. We are going to talk about Los Outrunners in just a moment, but FTR's heel turn, I think what the plan is, and I don't know, I want to know your thoughts, but I think the plan is they're slowly trying to, they're driving a clear wedge between Nick Wayne and Christian. And I think that I think they might be trying to set it up where Christian's going to end up alone with nobody. And I think Kip is going to be involved in turning Nick Wayne, everybody against the patriarchy, against Christian. Christian's going to be all alone. Adam Copeland's going to need somebody to take on FTR, and Christian's going to be the one. So I think we're getting Cope and Christian versus FTR at some point, and I'd love to see that. And, you know, as SPD said, make it a TLC match. I think it should be FTR, Cope and Christian, and the Hurt Syndicate in a true TLC triple threat. I do like that we're starting to really showcase a lot of the CMLL talent to get us hyped up for Mexico City for the Grand Slam in Mexico. How did you feel Atlantis Jr. and Templario? How did they fare compared to our mainstays, Hologram and Commander and Bandito?
Oh, I like them a lot. I love Templaro. I love his gimmick. I'm a huge fan of the Knights Templar. I love that history. It's very interesting to me, and about the Grail. So, like, I think his gimmick's really cool. I'm really into it. I like them a lot.
He should have said after he hit Cash, he should have said, "You have chosen poorly." Or, you know, like,
yeah, dude, from Indiana.
Throwback to Last Crusade,
which is a great movie.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say I like them a whole bunch. I'd like to see them versus Hologram and who's Hologram tagging with?
Commander. There's actually Commander, Hologram, and Bandito are taking on. I think they're taking on Mystico, Neon, which is the dude with the neon green mask, and it might be Atlantis Jr.
I think you're right.
They're taking them on. That's just going to be an insane match, and it's going to be But
I can't wait. That's awesome.
Max Caster had another 5-minute challenge, and by the picture you can kind of see how that went.
Yeah.
Let me ask.
Good old powerhouse.
I understand needing to make changes. I'm still a little perplexed on why we broke up the Acclaimed. I don't know if maybe there's some backstage, maybe Max and Anthony aren't getting along. I don't know, whatever. It's none of our business. However, between Max Caster and Anthony Bowens, whose gimmick is getting over more?
I don't know. That might be about the same. Max Caster might be a little bit. I don't know. I mean, I think Anthony Bowens is great in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. It just seems like there's something missing. You know what I mean? Like, you want to get behind him, and but you know what I mean? It's just like there's something there that like he needs to like grab to,
Yep. And BR's got a great booking question, and this is something that I've really been scratching my head because they've taken Max Caster, one half of one of the best tag teams we've had, one of the most over tag teams that we've had, but we've got this. He's now kind of a stooge character, and I don't know if this is it's funny, and he is. I mean, the crowd is chanting, "Let's go, Max! You're the greatest wrestler alive, best wrestler alive." I mean, they're getting behind it, but they're getting behind it more. And unfortunately, I feel like Bowen's his 5-tool player. One, don't ever put tool in your name if you want to be a babyface wrestler. That's just that in itself. I'm like, yeah, he's the 5-tool guy. I mean, I've asked some friends of mine that are baseball fans, and they never heard of 5-tool before. So I know he's trying it on. I think Bowens needs to ditch the 5-tool thing and just be Bowens, because I think people will get through. Steve Chambers makes a great point. He says Bowens more wins. even though he looks like American Gladiators. Yep. Obviously, Max will get a win at some point. Yeah, I almost feel like, Max needs to go through this stooge thing, maybe a bit of penance from some of his controversial stuff, but then eventually kind of get this path of redemption where somebody, and maybe it's Billy Gunn and Bowens, maybe it's somebody new, takes him under their wing and kind of gives him a direction that maybe shows him the way. I don't know. Maybe he joins Ricochet's crew. I don't know.
The one thing I think they kind of dropped the ball with was they could have made this match between Bowens and Caster so much bigger. Like they could have built, and I think it would have put one of them over more. Mm-hmm. But it just like they broke up. They wrestled on like a collision or something, and that was like it. It wasn't a big deal. They could have had so many great promos, and like, someone messing with somebody before a match, and like someone, costing somebody a match, like build it up for like a month.
Yeah.
And then have a big pay-per-view match. And like
with some Billy kind of cool Gunn stipulation. Yep. With Billy Gunn as
exactly. The ref too. Yeah. So like, I think there was just some like, it just happened too quick and it could have been a better program. And now we're wondering like, who's going to beat, or who's Max going to beat? And he's a heel. Like he's going to eventually have to turn face. And then, if he's going to get over, is he just going to be forgotten? Like I don't know. It's so weird. And like, and then Bowens, what's he doing? Like, what's he trying to do? Like get, I'm sure he wants to win a title, but how are we going to get there?
Yeah. I don't know. I hope they've got a plan. The only thing I can think of is maybe the breakup happened in the short match they had was maybe they really do have heat with each other or something. I don't know.
I mean, it kind of reminded me they dropped the ball in the WWE with Dustin and Cody when, that they were a tag team, they won the belt, and then they had a blow off match, and it was like on like a pre-show, and and look at the match they had at, what was it, All In?
Yep.
I don't need
a partner. I need my older brother. Yeah.
Geez, that was so good,
Well, speaking of so good, Bandito with Los Outrunners, the youngest luchador in the business, were there with Bandito. What an incredible honor, privilege it was to see Los Outrunners and Bandito in this match. Again, it was against the Callis trio, and apparently Hechicero is an unofficial new member of the Callis family, which I think is pretty interesting. Yeah, a lot of pink in this trios match. Yeah, there was a lot of pink. If you count the eye drink sign behind. What do you see going on with the Callis family? And we're going to talk about the other Callis family match in a bit too. But what do you see with Kyle? What's going on with Kyle Fletcher, Takeshita? Is one of them going to leave and turn face? What do you see going on? And also, why aren't the Outrunners the number one contenders for the tag team titles?
Well, didn't they just wrestle the Hurt Syndicate?
A while back they did, but why aren't they getting pushed?
I think they did, and then they're done.
They're done. So now they're Los Luchadors, those Los Outrunners.
I don't think they're the ones that are going to be taking the titles away from. I think the Hurt Syndicate's going to have it for a while. So I don't see anybody beating them. And I would like them to talk about this belt that Takeshita has, because I don't know, is it the lightweights? I can't remember what I saw, but no one said anything about it. What is it? Where did he get it?
Yeah. Did he order it from undisputedbelts.com? Totally not a sponsor. Yeah. Well, so, what do you think? What do you think's going to happen with Fletcher and Takeshita? Do you think Do you think there's going to be a rift? Do you see one of them turning face? Is one of them turning on Don Callis? Kind of, is Callis going to dismiss one of the members of the Callis family like he did with Fletcher and Ospreay?
I don't know. I kind of don't know where they're going with it yet. I think they're still trying to figure it out. Like, I think they're going to be around for a little bit and like maybe try to be like a mega power or something, you know, but in the company, and it might be a good, you know, trios, but you know, are we seeing more with you know, Fletcher and Adam Cole? I think Fletcher needs to be the champ.
Yes, and I think that was,
you know,
they were trying to protect him and Cole by having their match by making their match a draw, a time limit draw. I think that was definitely part of that. We did have the debut of Tekla, and not only was that, I popped because her opponent was Lady Frost. What did you think of Tekla's debut, as well as like, what are your thoughts on Lady Frost and kind of how she's been, how her AEW Ring of Honor booking has been?
Well, I mean, I think they're using Lady Frost as I mean, she's a great worker and a great, you know, utility person. I personally would like to see her. I mean, but it's so crazy because they have, I think there's so many great women that you want to see wrestle. Yeah. And like, two, they have also so many great people they could have had Tekla beat other than Lady Frost. I mean, but it's one of those things, like, I get it, like, you know, we want to see them on TV. So like, and like, you know, her losing is, I don't think, a big deal, but like, it also like takes away from like trying to take her seriously down the road. I think when you have other people that could have probably filled that role, because this was, I mean, if you think about it, it's her debut. Usually you get some kind of enhancement talent or like somebody like newer, you know, that just maybe got hired with the company that's coming up the ranks.
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel about it. I mean,
well, I like Tekla. I mean, I wasn't as familiar with her in Stardom as some of the others, but I went back and did some research. I like her. I mean, even her spooky little spider stance and stuff was pretty cool. But and I thought, you know, if you want a debut match, you want a good worker like Lady Frost to be your debut. You know, you want a good dance partner. But I would have liked to have seen Lady Frost get more of her offense in. But, you know, again, you don't want someone to be a formidable new talent to look like they're struggling. And but I wish, because to me, Lady Frost feels like somebody that should be kind of, she's a wrestler people want to see. They want to see, because the murder gymnastics is a thing. You know, she does a lot of this cool stuff. And you know, whether it's a promo issue or, you know, whatever it is, a storyline, you know, she doesn't necessarily need to be on the mic to be. People know when Lady Frost is in a match that it's going to have a lot of that flippy do stuff. I've always wanted her to take on Penelope Ford. I thought that would be a good matchup, the two of them together, both gymnasts. Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to see Lady Frost. You know, maybe there's something where she could team with somebody else and be like a fire and ice tag team. You know, maybe she can find some stuff like that. Looks like Steven says Queen Aminata is going to get bit. Yeah, after this match, Tekla tried to rub it in with Lady Frost, and Queen Aminata came out and she said, "You know what we do as spiders in Nigeria? We step on them and squish them." Yeah, exactly. So she said, if you don't know what I mean, Google it. I think funny. That's going to be a great match, and it's already got a storyline. Give Tekla a test, put her against Serena Deeb. Interesting. Or Serena Deeb could be a mentor of some kind. You know, maybe she could join the dojo if she gets booked right.
The one thing are they going to go back to what she did to Jamie Hayter? Like, was that just like taking Jamie Hayter out? Like, I thought we were going to get a program with those two. Or do you think we're still going to get that, or are they just moved on?
Absolutely. I think Hayter's taking some time off, but you know, Tekla's she's gonna run through some people. Unfortunately for Queen Aminata, Thekla's getting the win on that, and she's going to probably go through a couple people, or we might see Jamie Hayter show up after that match, or Jamie Hayter might show up later. I think we might end up getting a Jamie Hayter, Thekla, or I keep calling her Thekla because there's an H, but it's Thekla. But we might see Jamie Hayter, Thekla at the buy-in in All In at some point, or we might get that as a match before then, because All In it's counting down, man. We're in the 30s as far for All In, but I'd like to see that.
It's crazy.
It's weird. It's weird when you have a debut. You want to protect them. You want them to be a formidable wrestler, but at the expense of someone like Jamie Hayter. I don't know if that's you want that to be her first big match.
Yeah, exactly. It seemed a little weird. I'm not like a wrestling promoter, or a booker, but like I just wouldn't, I wouldn't have put Jamie in that position, and unless you were going to start like a big program with her, but or like maybe like we said maybe it took her out, but then like no one really talked. It's like, oh, Jamie's gone, and now it's like she moved on. Yeah. I mean, I agree with they had a chance to do this with Camille, like. Slowly like a Goldberg build where like you don't really notice them at first, but they're slowly like catching your eye. Like have her in the background once in a while, wrestle somebody and then build up to better opponents and then beat one of the best. And then, she's on the path to take out, a babyface champion.
Steven says, put the match on the pay-per-view, not the buy-in. What's interesting too, it just occurred to me we're not going to have two separate women's matches for the TBS and world title for the women's division because they're both facing each other. So there's room for more women's matches. You could have Thekla versus Jamie Hayter and the finals of a women's tag tournament. Hello, let's get that happen.
If we could get three matches on. We get 3 women's matches on the main card. That'd be awesome.
Let's book it. Let's make it happen. All right. Christian, Nick Wayne is this whole thing. What do you see going on with the patriarchy? And what did you think of this 4-way?
I agree totally with what you said earlier. I thought that too I thought eventually, we're going to see Christian and Cope get back together, and I think this is a great way to slowly lead into it with the riff here, and then FTR gets involved, and then we get that matchup for revenge for what they did to Cope. So I think we're going to get a match here, and I think Christian's going to put Nick over somehow, which will be, I think, good for him.
Christian mentioned that Kip's working on something big. Is that a dinosaur of some kind, you think? Or is it something else?
Oh, that makes sense.
Do you see Kip turning on Christian?
I don't think so. I don't think Kip's going to be turning on Christian now. Do you?
I wonder. Because I think the most effective way to put Christian with Cope is Christian's got to be all alone.
Yeah, you're right.
So if he's out of his own patriarchy, which is similar to what happened to Edge in the WWE when he created Judgment Day and then he was ousted.
Yeah.
So if you have if Christian has nobody and then there's Cope and they get the band back together, that could be it. Let's talk about this 4-way. I mean, in our veins,
dude. How about AR Fox, man?
How over is AR Fox? The chance. I mean, everybody, and I mean, I would have popped so hard if he actually won. Obviously, he wasn't going to. In fact, he ended up eating the pin. But how over was AR Fox in this whole match? And Sammy, Lee Johnson, Nick Wayne. I thought this was incredible.
Dude, I totally forgot about AR Fox until I saw this. I totally forgot about the match, but I tweeted out how over, he was on this. So like, oh my gosh, the crowd was going nuts. It was great. Like, it seems like he needs to be pushed. Like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, have him go on a singles run, even if like he's going for the TNT title and he doesn't win, but like he's over.
Yeah. And he's another one of those guaranteed, it's going to be good stuff. When he does that, when people do a clothesline and he drops and does the back and then the kip up, the thing I still can't believe, and Deb was pointing out that he doesn't seem like he's ever been injured, knock on wood, but he does like that front flip where he like jumps off, but he rolls forward instead of backward. That's insane. And speaking of insane, Sammy is insane. He's always going to good for a thing. And Lee Johnson, I like that tandem of him and Blake Christian. Ricochet also was at ringside. He's looking for his crew, saying crew. I was thinking initially he's going to recruit Action Andretti and Leo Rush. But can you see Lee Johnson and the Vanilla Baby perhaps teaming up with Ricochet?
Sure. I mean, I think that would be a great, which would, give more clout to both of them guys if you're going to team them with, Ricochet. Because, dude, Ricochet, I mean, he's almost like, to me, almost like a Christian level heel getting there. You know what I mean? It's so, everyone was like kind of bumming on him and like he just turned it around, man. It's so good. I totally enjoy anytime he's on TV.
Who do you think is going to derail Nick Wayne? Who's going to actually be the one to take the strap off of Nick Wayne? Should it be AR Fox?
Oh, I would love that. I mean, any kind of belt on AR Fox will put him over. I think that's the feud we're going with. So, that might even be good. And, AR Fox can do some Ring of Honor stuff while Nick Wayne moves on to something, against Christian without the belt there, because really like I see what they're doing to like give clout to Nick Wayne, but I think I always get weird about the ROH belts, like going back and forth on AEW shows. It kind of makes the ROH brand look not as, I think they're trying to promote it, but I think it makes them look weak kind of.
Yeah, they are secondary. Oh, I like this. Kip Sabian could be the one. Maybe that's with the help of Switchosaurus. Kill Switchosaurus could be involved of some kind. And we hope that. By the way, we hope that Kip Sabian's pink eye gets better after what happened with Penelope getting a little stink face a couple weeks ago. But we talked about Ty Mello. I just want they did have the main event before we get to top performer. SPD said Kenny Omega. We didn't talk about this match yet. The three-way. Let's get to the four-way. Kenny Omega, Mascara Dorada, Claudio, and Brody King. We saw Claudio do the spin with Brody King, and there's so much greatness going on in this match. Obviously, we were pretty sure Kenny was going to win, but what was your thoughts on this four-way and then the aftermath of which I think the quote-unquote announcement that we all kind of knew was coming?
I thought this was like a classic AEW match. Like it was just, action. It was fast. It was just good. It's something you would expect. You just know you're gonna have a good time watching it. I like the whole, where we're having everybody from, different countries representative here. I think that's kind of neat. Just a little thing to see, that there's so many different styles of wrestling and wrestlers in AEW, just to like reinforce it. It's just kind of neat how diverse their roster is and how many, different styles of wrestling there is there. So I thought this was like a cool montage of that. And it was just so much fun. And like, I'm super excited. We're going to get this match at All In with Omega and Okada. Like we've been like talking about this for a while and I like the build up to it. It's pretty cool.
I love it too. as soon, I mean, it was almost like on cue. We knew that you were going to hear the coin and the Rainmaker music was going to kick in. This is a classic. If anybody familiar with their history in New Japan knows that this is going to be a classic. And what are your thoughts on Okada? There are some people that are feeling like he's more of a clown character now than he was in New Japan, or they don't like how he's being, but I love him. I think this is a great, it shows more dimensions to him. The whole, I'm so sorry, I pressed the wrong button, that kind of stuff I think is fun. But also in the ring, he had that match with Kevin Knight. He had a lot of these matches that have been phenomenal, and this is gonna cook at All In.
Oh yeah, I think he's just having fun. Like I think he was this serious Rainmaker in New Japan. He's great in the ring, and I think he's getting older too. So like I think he's just like changing up his style a little bit, but he's still an excellent executioner with his moves. And I think he's just like he has a different audience. He's trying something new, and being from Japan and coming over here. That's a big transition. It's different, it's different style wrestling, different crowd. People aren't familiar with him. I think he's just coming into his own, and I think he's having a blast. So I'm with you. I'm totally enjoying Okada.
And if you're familiar with BTE, he used to mess with the Young Bucks all the time.
So
he would always
funny.
He would always dress up in their gear, but he'd have that straight face. So I think this has actually been natural. And I'm excited. And does Tony Khan unify these belts?
I think that's the point. Yeah, I think they're going to unify. I don't know what they're going to end up. I don't know if it's just going to be the international, title and just like it eats up the continental title. And I think we had talked, if you keep it just like as a cup tournament winner and then they get a shot at the belt, I think that's like good enough, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Throwing that title in is kind of weird because like if he loses the belt and then the continental title like tournament starts, does the champion he went through the tournament as champion? It was just strange,
Yeah. I think that's true. I think that's what they need to do. And if they do a women's continental classic, you don't necessarily have to have a continental belt. You could just say like the winner of the continental classic gets a title shot.
It's like the King of the Ring.
Yeah, exactly. King of the Ring. I love it.
King of the Ring. They get the crown. They get to be called king, and then they go on to face a champ at SummerSlam. It's the same concept. It's pretty easy.
Absolutely. Well, Brent, we heard people.
Oh,
we heard people. What are your thoughts on the direction with MJF and the Hurt Syndicate? And of course, we're going to talk about who seems to be their upcoming opponents. But first, are you surprised that there hasn't been a twist yet? And who's playing chess more here in this whole storyline with MJF and the Hurt Syndicate?
It's going to be interesting to see what happens because it might be classic MJF where he's like playing the fool, but he really is the one doing the twisting.
Yeah. Is he
I don't know.
Yeah. Is he going to bring back the Pinnacle?
No, I don't want. I mean, I heard. Do you hear like what I think Wardlow was at one of the shows and he's cleared now because he's just been hurt and like no one's talked about what's been wrong with him, but like apparently he's and he's filming a movie.
Oh,
so like he's been. So they didn't want him coming back and then having to leave.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I just heard recently. So I don't know if it's true, but so maybe, everyone thinks maybe they're going to pair them back up. I don't know. It'll be interesting. I really can't think of what they're going to do. So I'm kind of curious to see how this plays out.
Well, I think we're going to be in for quite a treat next week when Commander, the return, Kevin Knight, and Speedball aka Jet Speed, take on the Hurt Syndicate, including MJF. I mean, any match with Speedball and or Commander and or Kevin Knight, sign me up. I mean, it's going to be incredible. This are these candidates that could give a run for the money with the Hurt Syndicate, and who do you see going over in this 3-on-3?
No, they're not going to go over.
They're going to get hurt.
Yeah, they're going to get hurt, but it's going to be a great match, I think.
Yeah.
But man, Kevin Knight, man. Whew, I mean, all three of these guys are fantastic. I just see like Kevin Knight, shoot. I think if he's booked right, he's just so good. They're all really good.
These three guys, I've said this before with Top Flight, but I literally think Kevin Knight could do this. If they had a ladder match with no ladder match, like a ladder match, but without any ladders, Kevin Knight, Commander, I think at least Dante Martin from Top Flight, possibly Speedball. You could select a group now from the AEW talent that could reach the belt without using a ladder, from the ropes or just with Kevin Knight. His vertical leap is insane. He could just go whoop and grab it. That would be such a wild.
It would be awesome.
Such a wild moment. Let's see. Well, let's make sure we covered everything we talked about. I didn't have a picture of it, but just really quickly, the main event was Daniel Garcia in the Paragon versus Callis family, and then we did see. I'll just go back to this picture, Callis family. We got to see Kyle Fletcher and Takeshita come out. We talked about it earlier. Kyle Fletcher needs to win the TNT title, and is the Paragon? Where does the Paragon rank in relation to Undisputed Kingdom and the Undisputed? What were they in NXT? I don't know.
Undisputed Era.
Where is the Paragon? Does it still have the same mojo as they've had before?
I don't think.
What? And I want to hear in the chat too. How do you turn this around with the Paragon? Because I don't know. It's just not clicking for me. And I like Adam Cole, but somebody used the analogy that Adam Cole is AEW's golden retriever, but sometimes you got to take old Yeller around the back. And like, is it Adam Cole? Do we need a heel turn? Do we need one of the do we need and what happened? Like in the United Kingdom, Taven and Bennett just disappeared. Yeah, are they? Is it because they're face and they need to go heel? What do you think is? Let's play doctor, and how do we cure the Paragon sickness here?
Yeah, it's so weird because especially with Kyle O'Reilly, it seemed like he was like when he was with Mark Briscoe.
Yeah, the conglomeration.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And I thought he was coming into his own there, and then it just kind of fell apart. And then and like Roderick Strong, the whole neck strong, that was awesome. Like,
right. Yeah,
I mean they're great. They're great in the ring when they're wrestling, but I don't know. They're just like you said. There's just something there that they're more like guys that are just going to lose.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I tried to make what's that?
I said, yeah, probably turning heel maybe.
I tried to make I put in AI. I said I need to make a super chat party for Adam Cole, and this is what AI gave me. I'm not sure we want to use it, but let me just see what you think. I mean, I said, AI, can you give us an Adam Cole? A super chat? And this is what they gave us.
You know it's all about
Probably not the best super chat. Probably not something we want to use. But that, I mean, if AI is giving us that, then we got to do something and turn that whole thing around. Anyways, all right, so Fighter Fest top performers. Full Tilt Dev loves it. All right, Full Tilt Dev loves it. I don't know. That's kind of disrespectful to Adam Cole. We love him to pieces, but yeah, that was.
Really yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyways, top performers. SPD says Kenny Omega. You can't go wrong with that. I said AR Fox, even though he ate the pin. Dude was phenomenal in the match. I think he did help make that match of the night. And, I love him. If I had to ask you, though, Brent, overall, who would be your Fighter Fest top performer?
I mean, originally going in, and I thought you were going to ask me that, I was just going to probably go with Tony Storm. But, I might side with you with the AR Fox. Because, for him losing and him being over, and he just looks great in the ring, I think I might have to go AR Fox like you.
Yep. Well, so that's 2 for AR Fox, and Steven in the chat says Omega. So yeah, we got 2 for Omega, 2 for AR Fox. Great stuff. Thank you, Brent, for hanging in with us here. And once again, happy birthday. And tomorrow night at 10 o'clock is the draft. Steven's gonna be there. We've got some new draft folks coming in, so we'll have you'll actually be a surprise reveal. This is the pool is getting thicker, so we're gonna have it's gonna be a lot of fun. I've already got a list of names myself. I'm not going to reveal who they are, but good stuff, and it's gonna be another fun draft. And SPD, you're going down, buddy. You're not going to get a three-peat here. That's not going to happen. Boo. All right, on behalf of Brent Ross, thank you all for joining in, and we'll see you tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern, for the official draft of Season 6. And we will see you. And as the man says, goodbye, mwah, and good night.
I'm your huckleberry.